Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and welcome to Game 2 from After Hours Gaming League. I am here with Corin, and how are you enjoying this evening so far?
Well, it's good. I just finished done casting my first ever StarCraft 2 game. Felt okay so far, but we'll have to see how it goes. So, game 2 now. Once again, this is week 4 of After Hours Gaming League between AMD and Paravita Solutions. So, in the top left-hand corner here, we have LaserBones, the blue Zerg, on the side of Paravita Solutions. And, of course, in the bottom right-hand corner here, we've got ireScath representing AMD as the red Protoss.
Now, I'm thinking, we did agree this beforehand, ireScath is quite difficult to say, so I reckon we should shorten it to either Ire or Scath, just for the sake of being able to keep things flowing nicely. So, which would you prefer, Corin?
I think we'll go with Scath. Now, LaserBones, that is an awesome name. What exactly do you think are LaserBones?
I don't know, but I'd imagine they would either be very impractical or very painful. I mean, what if it was like a lightsaber or something, like that sort of laser? Then you're just going to melt. Otherwise, conventional lasers, they're not going to be able to really support your body, so it's quite impressive you can actually play StarCraft with LaserBones, I think.
That is very true. And, I think one of the favorite things I have with the Microsoft Xbox system is that they assign you random names where it's some adjective followed by some word. And LaserBones feels that way, right? It's like two words that have nothing to do with each other, like motivational apple or something, right? Like it doesn't make any sense, but they just sound really cool.
You know what else it's like? I don't know if you ever used to do that thing called Googleplexing, where you had to put two words into Google and only get one result, was the aim.
Ah, yeah.
So you could put like a laser bone or like ambidextrous hedgehog.
That would be really awesome.
I wonder if hedgehogs are
I
ambidextrous.
want a hedgehog, and I want an ambidextrous hedgehog. That is now my new dream.
How would you test it? Because you couldn't exactly get it to write with both hands, could you?
I will go get a giant group of hedgehogs and place them through multiple scientific tests to see which one is the most ambidextrous one of them all.
See, now you've just reminded me of the robot from Portal. You're just like, for science!
Yeah.
It's all good. Now, we should probably talk a little bit about what these players are doing. Of course, we are on Antigua Shipyard. And so far, we had a hatch first out of the Zerg, into a spawning pool, and then into a quick first gas. Meanwhile, for the Protoss player, getting a wall
That
off.
drone is so low! No! Actually, the probe gets taken out. That drone is gonna make it out alive.
Did I miss the ninja probe kill?
Ah.
So the first death has already happened. That is terrible
It's
timing.
not as exciting as in League of Legends. First blood, it's like, about 500 more things are going to die this game. It's not a big deal.
I don't know, because the workers, they're just doing their little job. They want to go out and scout. They're not violent in any way. All they do is mine and go and look around.
I don't know, that probe was pretty violent there. Did you see him lasering LaserBones?
To be fair, would lasers hurt someone with laser bones? Apparently so. apparently it does. But anyway, as we can see, the Zerglings just taking the map vision, which is the right thing to do. Probably going to come and check down by the natural to make sure that nothing untoward is happening. But we do have the slight untoward things. It appears that Sketh is taking on the role of White Ra in this match by getting an early Stargate. And that is most likely gonna spawn an Oracle, because Oracles are good units in Heart of the Swarms, Corin. And we're gonna see probably a lot of workers go down for the Zerg player right now.
And just blocking off the ramp, making sure that the Zerglings can't come in and check out the Stargate. No Overlord. It doesn't look like there will be an Overlord heading across the map. The Stargate is pretty close to the edge, so potentially if he sent an Overlord across the map, could catch that.
Indeed it could. And now we are seeing that, just as expected, we do have the Oracle on its way out. And, well, with no Evolution Chamber coming down, the only anti-air defense that is out is going to be the Queens. And an Oracle does kill one Queen in a head-on fight. But two Queens can kill an Oracle. So that's what we're going to be looking for, is how many Oracles come out, how many Queens, if there's any more Queens in production. But just now an Evolution Chamber, the double Evo starting, which means that Spore Crawlers can come down, but only if the lovely LaserBones does spot it.
It looks like he's also going for a Baneling nest, so let's see what his strategy is here. And the Oracle. What does an Oracle look like exactly? It doesn't look like a ship to me.
It's like a really futuristic kind of style that all the Protoss units seem to have. I'm not quite sure what it's meant to do though. It doesn't have it kind of just has someone in there apparently, according to the little portrait down there. And look at this, the chat I think is always quite cool, and they're like, it beats a queen? Oh, this is bad times, but spore crawlers are getting thrown down now. But that was the little Oracle that could. Got 5 worker kills on its own. And as we can see, there's no more in production. There is a void ray now coming out, as well as some additional gateways. But as a Protoss player, I'd be pretty happy with killing off 5 workers. I've got my expansion down, but of course the Zerg's sitting there, getting down his third, so gonna see some more harassment hopefully, but for the moment, the Protoss is ahead by 11 workers, and that's always good times, Corey.
Yep. And looks like also up on a couple units. We'll have to see what happens. The void ray is out, and he does have his expansion down as well. Can go ahead and saturate up one of the gas geysers here. So Zerg actually moving out with some Zerglings. He does have the Baneling nest, and those tiny Banelings wiggling their way across the map. They do not have the centrifugal hooks, so not going to do the cool rolling animation, just going to wiggle their bums little way across the map.
Of course, the rolling animation is the best thing with Banelings. Second best. The best thing with Banelings is burrowing them. Nothing is more fun than a burrow Baneling. I don't know if
Are you a Zerg player?
I am sometimes. I play random now, but I used to be a Zerg player. Admittedly, I did have lots of fun. Now, we do see the Queens did actually manage to take down the Oracle. So, oh no, it didn't. The Oracle is still up. Where is that hiding?
It's in the top left-hand corner of the
it
map.
got away. I saw the little like flashing, which is all like, oh, it's something, but it was just a hallucinated phoenix, so it wasn't anything too bad. But of course, as we see now, the Protoss player is moving across the map, but there's quite a few Zerglings and Banelings there, but the Banelings, are they going to hit the Stalkers? No, they don't, not quite yet. This is all getting really tense now.
Alright, the Stalker's now moving out a probe as well. Oh, gonna go ahead and snipe down a Baneling. And the Void Ray is there, could target the Baneling, just gonna fly by, just watching them wiggle their way. What are they doing? Okay, finally gonna go ahead and take down those 3 Banelings.
Now, of course, the Banelings were only one of the threats. The Zerglings did manage to go in, and those force fields unfortunately did have a gap in them, and that simply means that all of the Zerglings will run away very happily, and the sentries only just force fielding themselves out of the base, which was probably not what they intended, but 2 probes were killed there, so that's not too bad for the lovely LaserBones. But all in all, this is the sort of situation where both players are pretty much in equal positions. I'd say the Protoss slightly ahead now, just because of more workers are now getting up to third base as well. But Hydras are out for the Zerg player, and of course Hydras have had some good buffs in Heart of the Swarm.
Nice. Hydras, I think you were used to be one of my favorite units. Unfortunately, not getting a lot of play in Wings of Liberty, so it would be nice to see their return here. And that always sucks. You know, you have a giant ramp, and you try your best, you've got all your sentries, you try to force field the whole ramp, and it's not foolproof, and the Zerglings go through anyways.
Yeah, it's always unfortunate when force fields have gaps in them, but that's the thing. Lots of people complain about force fields being too strong, but it takes a lot of skill to hit down force fields accurately, especially over such a big ramp, and I know I've suddenly missed force fields, and it's one of those frustrating things that if you miss them, you're just like, oh, if only I was a bit quicker, that would have gone so far my way. But the one thing I'm loving seeing Skaith do here is he's actually using these hallucinated Phoenix very well to just try and get some scouting information out, get a good idea about what his opponent's doing. And he can just see the edge of the creep there at the third base, so knows that base is now down. And I think that's a little tiny nice touch that hopefully he has realised that creep's there and now knows that he's on equal basis with his opponent.
Yep, and the Phoenix disappears into the mysterious void that is the Protoss. So, looks like so far, Supply slightly in the lead for Scath here in the bottom, and of course as a Zerg, you don't want to be on the same number of bases as your opponent. Of course, his third base is quite a bit more saturated, but Scath here is going to working on his way to get up the workers at his third base, and Zerg really needs to think about taking a 4th base at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I would imagine just from looking at this, that neither of these players are particularly high-level players, just due to the fact that they are pretty low on their work account, both just around the 50 mark at 14 minutes. But as a drone player, as a Zerg player, you always want to be droning. You just want to get up as a drone player, which is really it was probably one of those Fudian slips that works quite well, because you do definitely want to get down the 70+ drone mark. But if you've got your opponent harassing you, you're always going to actually be a bit worried that what if they come and kill me, and that's what forces units. And if you force units out of a Zerg, they're not going to have the economy to follow it up. But I'm very excited because carriers are on their way out to the field, and carriers make every game at least 1,000% more awesome.
That is true. It's just one of those. It's it's like when some people, they walk into a room and they just have a really commanding presence, and that's what the carrier does. It's just their presence. Just it really brings a bit extra to the game.
And of course, air toss is something that has got so much stronger in Heart of the Swarm, because you've got the Tempest, you've got the Oracle, and with the Void Ray changes as well, they can actually be really potent. And while the carriers are quite weak against a lot of Corruptors, for example, the Hydras may have a little bit of damage dealing with a large air force on their own. So it's all about when the Zerg player decides to engage. You see the Proxy Pylon, or the Forward Pylon getting taken down there, and the Watchtower just retaken. But are we going to see an engagement shortly? I don't think we will. It looks like both players just wanting to sit back and macro up their units.
Yeah, I think that's something we see a lot in lower level plays, that everyone doesn't feel confident just moving out and trying to take things down. So go ahead and just sit back and, get up a max army, run it at each other, and then maybe go and try that again.
It's like, we'll both get off a big army, we'll both throw it at each other, and then we'll see who won there, and then maybe come back. It's like war in the medieval times. They'll both meet at either side of a big valley and just be like, go! And then at the end of it, they'll be like, who won?
Yep. So will we finally see engagement? Looks like Protoss is deciding to make their way out. We have one carrier, the Mothership Core, 2 Void Rays, and a whole bunch of High Templar as well. So
that's actually a pretty scary
efficient army.
Yeah, that is going to be a very efficient army, especially with Storms hitting, especially with the carrier, and also the Mothership Core does have Time Warp, and also the mass recall ability. So should things not go in the Protoss player's favor, then do you know what you do? You just run away.
Yep, and that is the annoying thing. Oh, tiny. What are those things?
They're locusts.
Huh. Where's the? Oh, there. Whoa. They look really, really strange.
They are the lovely new Swarm Host units. And of course, Swarm Hosts are basically like a ground-based Broodlord, which spawns these locust things, which last a lot longer than Broodlings. But they do shoot by range, and they have quite a lot of health. But unfortunately, they don't shoot up. They did in times gone by. In the original time they came out, they could shoot air units, and they were just ridiculously imbalanced. So now these carriers will be able to move them quite nicely.
Interceptors versus Locusts. Looks like Interceptors is going to win that one.
But it doesn't matter, because as we can see here, a couple of Zealots going down. And of course, anytime you kill something with a unit that was free for you, it's going to be a good trade.
Can you just throw those out infinitely?
Yep, they're infinite free units that spawn every couple of seconds. But here we go, an engagement is going to come down here, and it looks like those Hydras, they thought, yep, we can do it, and then we're like, no, we definitely cannot do that. And Tail and Hide. But I love the fact both these players are getting pretty much every new unit in the game. We've got Tempest just about to pop out right now, and we've also got Swarm Hosts and Vipers on their way. So I think that's pretty awesome. That's cool times.
Yeah. I think Protoss needs to... Oh, nice storm there.
Now, there was actually loads of cancels. I don't know if you noticed that, but there were loads of cancels. But these storms are absolutely on the money. Oh,
man. Just getting completely trapped in that. On the ramp there, all the units clustered up. And it's like actually that all the High Templar are now gone. So probably just going to do a little bit more damage and then recall home.
Yeah, it's one of these things where obviously it was kind of mutually destructive, to be honest. On the one hand, all of the ground forces of Protoss died through the Swarm Hosts, but the carriers have stayed up, and now we're seeing that the Swarm Hosts have unburrowed, and that now means that these carriers and the Interceptors can just start chipping away. And these poor little Swarm Hosts, they're running away so cutely.
Oh, they just look so strange. I can't get over this.
They kind of remind me of a crab. A crab crossed with a tortoise. A turtle. I can't... I was trying to say tortoise or turtle, and I just confused it both ways. I don't know how I did that.
It's just on their back. It's like when you have, you know, it's like when you have things on your face and you just have to pop them off. It's like, it's the worst thing. Like, it's very Zerg-like, but it's really annoying. You see those little dots on their back and you just want to pop all the little locusts out of them.
I'm sure they should have an upgrade where you can just, like, pop all of them at once. It'd be incredibly imbalanced, but it'd be quite fun, wouldn't it? And it'd make you happy at the end of the day. You could just be like, pop. You wouldn't even would you even do it in battle, or would you just do it when they're sitting there? Like,
I can't stand it. Look at them. Look at them just standing there with their tiny little dots on top of them.
I find them quite cute. They're like Bailings. Bailings are cute.
Bailings are very adorable. So looks like Protoss here, Scath, gonna go ahead and take the gold base here in the middle of the map. Now Zerg does have the Hydras here. Gonna go ahead and take down the Assimilator, but Protoss army is here. Storm, not really gonna hit that many. And Book is now buried in the middle of the map.
Yeah, these locusts are actually going to be really irritating because they're going to keep pushing into that gold base. You see them already killed quite a few probes, and you've just got to kill them before they kill you. And it doesn't matter if they die for the Zerg player because they're free. And as I said previously, if you're losing 3 units to deal any damage, it's always going to be good news for you. But observers are coming over, so detection has been given, and now we're just seeing some storms, the carriers, and of course the stalkers clearing out pretty much everything. And unfortunately, this isn't looking good for the Zerg player right now.
Yeah, a bit of an aim move there for the Protoss though, so the High Templar are going to just walk into their death, but it doesn't matter. Carriers now with the observers are going to be able to take out all of these swarm hosts and take back control of the middle of the map, and of course that does mean that he will be able to secure the gold base here.
And now, this is where I am definitely going to take on my favourite expression in StarCraft, that there's a point where you should just go and kill your opponents. And this is most certainly it. We can see the Protoss is about 80 supply ahead, but has decided, no, I should sit back and get out some more units, even though I've just killed my opponent's entire force. And if you're ever in this situation and you're watching, just go win.
That is true, and you know, you just really need to get a couple extra gold minerals down, right? Like,
well, gold minerals are so weird because they've been taken out of most of the main tournament maps because they're quite awkward in how they work, and as such, having it gives you great income off of pure workers, which is really good. And I mean, it doesn't matter at this point too much because the Protoss player is so far ahead, but with the Vipers coming in, if there's some good abducts like we're seeing there, we could see some of these air units get taken down. So clearly, LaserBones is going to give it his all.
you know, LaserBones should play Protoss. That would be better for lasers. Ooh, nice Psy Storms coming down. These Hydras now basically all at half health. 2 more storms going down. They are getting completely decimated here.
And as we can see, a good attempt trying to stay up. LaserBones is doing his utmost to spawn as many Hydras as the hatcheries can, but unfortunately, this Protoss Air Force has managed to take out the 3rd base. There are the 2 bases below this, though, that I don't actually believe that State is effectively knows about. No, he doesn't. So there are 2 more bases, but I just don't think they're going to be enough. And there's the GG, and the game was over.
You know, I really think LaserBones is just playing the wrong race.
If he just went back to his namesake and got lasers, he'd be fine. Is that? I think that is some good thinking there, Corin. Now, do we have any more games between this, or was it a best of 3?
It is a best of 5, so
Ooh.
we will now be able to go to the 3rd game after this one.
Okay, in which case, we will see each and every one of you there. Make sure you like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe, and then flick over to game 3 of this best of 5.